Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anne-Marie. Today is Thursday, November the 15th, I believe, and we're going to talk a little bit about Apple because all eyes are on this chart. Now, here's the thing I want to tell you. A lot of us believe that charts can go up like this forever. They can't, actually. And there's a little bit of a clue in terms of when something is getting parabolic. And it actually, see how this is kind of a nice linear move, and then all of a sudden it begins to curve, change direction, and get very, very swift. When a chart begins to accelerate rapidly like this, it can't do it forever. Remember, the market is a system, and to get all math nerdy on you, as I often do, systems need energy pumped into them constantly for them to keep moving. That's the nature of a system, right? We can't, an energy source has got to be in there, and those energy sources are buyers. Obviously, they're stepping back a little bit. We are pulling, this is just, it's a needed move. It's a needed move. The world is not over with Apple. Somebody tweeted something about, and its book value is, listen, at the risk of having somebody mail me a pipe bomb, I do want to tell you, book value has very little to do with how many stocks are traded in the market today. We are a pure technical engine, and as much as you don't want to hear that, as much as you're a fundamental trader, not that fundamental trading doesn't work, it does, but don't ask why a chart is moving in one direction and expect it to have a fundamental reason. It doesn't. We're technical monsters here. Machines just running through the fib levels, running through support and resistance, and just doing what it is that we technical traders do. We move from support to resistance, to support to resistance. All right? Now, that being said, oh, I'm sure I'm going to get hate mail for that one. But that being said, let's take a look at where Apple is right now. Apple's sitting somewhere around this wick, which was the last wave action, right? We have a 100% retracement event sitting right there. The 200 on the daily sits conveniently just below it. We have a little bit of, those of you that work with me, there's an S-curve sitting right there. And so the chances that we pull back into 516 become very, very much part of the conversation if we cannot get right back up here and hold 535. We don't need to stay down here in this 520-ish region for any more than a couple hours. At the most, we're going to have trouble. All in all, we should still have a little bit of trouble in my mind. And again, down here, I know that is a train wreck of noise, but gap action right here, gap action right here. Are we going to come into it? I don't know. Might not come into it right this minute, but fear not. Gaps fill. They just take a while sometimes. And not all gaps fill all the time, but most of them. And so we can live with that. All right. So what's the trade for tomorrow? You want to watch to see how Apple behaves in the first 30-45 minutes of the day. Here's what's going to happen. In the pre-market, people are going to come out and they're going to bet on one side or the other. If we happen to pop, and we still have more downside action to work out in the SPX and the ES, so if we pop here, it's going to be a pop into resistance. That's what I surmise anyway. But when we see this event, if you see Apple take a pre-market high, and as it comes into the morning, it tries to breach that high and can't, it's going to be weakness. And so you're going to look for it to fill that gap and see how it behaves at that baseline support. We made a lower low after the market closed today, so that's something else that we need to watch for. Dangerous here to play, but if you trade level to level and you pay attention to support and resistance, you ought to do just fine rolling through the motions. Listen, as a trader, and I know I say listen a lot, but I really want you to listen, because a lot of times we don't. We think we're hearing, but we're not really hearing. We're just sort of going through the motions. It's tremendously amazing to me. Our level of attention needs to be much greater if we're going to be good technical traders, folks. Way too many of us are attention deficit disorder individuals, and we have a tough time in the market, right? If you're a technical trader and you've got attention deficit disorder, you really have got to work on focusing. Why am I laughing at that? Because I used to be one of those people that had to have 1,000 things going. The radio on, the internet feed on, CNBC on, whatever, on, everything, and complete sensory overload. And I just had to back off and say, listen, you want to be a good trader, you have got to trim that noise out. And way too many of us try to do 6 things at one time. If you want to get good at technical trading and you really want to be precise, you're not going to do anything else but sit quietly in front of your screen. Right? Now, some of us need music, some of us need that sort of thing. Me, silence. That's the very best thing to me. The sound of my voice, because I'm always talking in the trading room, and that is it. So, good luck tomorrow with Apple. It is coming into a space where it might go sideways. It is exhausted. It really, really is exhausted. Needs to pop a little bit. This is, did I mention this before? Beautiful Bollinger Band lines according to Fibonacci's. And so this thing is stretching out into, I don't know, I think this is 3.618. And so it's getting very, very extended. And we've done that a couple of times outside here, popped up, holding the level. But I mean, we are just having a tough time. If we can get back in here, hold ourselves up, and just pop into this region and hold it, we'll have a chance at coming back up. But regrettably, there is more downside. There's more downside action for Apple ahead. All right, see you later.